Good morning, good morning, everyone. Today, I like to talk about, like to share information about. I hope you're doing well. Uh, I like to share information about zombifications and zombies. Zombification appears at any time when the human biological system has been suffocated, has been harmed, has been hurt, has been abused. But how we know that the human biological system, any uh, areas of the human biological system, energetic, physical, or psychological areas, were attacked, harassed, and bothered and troubled? How do we know that? It's very simple. When it comes to energetic qualities, every time when you know that you've done your best psychologically as well as physically to be well as a human, so you didn't consume any physical or psychological poisons, or you didn't let any physical or psychological pollutions through your system, then you know that you are set to be well energetically also. But let's say that you are and you have done your best, you worked really hard all day or all night or all morning or all for 24 hours, you done your best to try to take care of your life. And believe it or not, when you do that, you are automatically taking care of all human lives. Simply by example, simply by strengthening that type of electromagnetic reality frequency what is belonging to humankind. Once you once you took care of your own, you also took care of all the rest of the humans, even if they are not well, even if they are sick, even if they are zombified or zombies already. Not much of a difference in over there. Just another degree of violations and offenses. That it is there is a difference. That is the only difference between someone being zombified or someone is already a zombie. The other difference is from zombifications, which is not yet finally staged or chronologically effective on the human biological system, either energetically, physically, or psychologically, is from minor zombifications, so from minor infections and injuries of that neurologically. Uh, I think that's how it is appears first, then it shows that energetic quality will show on the psychology, then will show on the physiology too. There are people who are living in rabies as well as with rabies. Those people, either energetically, physically, or psychologically, most commonly people are sharing zombifications or living with cancer, living with rabies, uh, with literally rotted and rotting cellular structures due to pollutions, mostly animal nature, mostly caused, which were mostly caused by animal nature infections directly. Now, now those animal nature infections appear around us firstly energetically. Radioactive weapons, radioactive pollutions, radiations today are the most common uh, hazards and dangers, exposed dangers on humans as well as on animals, as well as all living beings, but also non living beings and things which otherwise would be human nature supportive. Now, all of that will be attacked and getting attacked and were attacked simply because there is human nature supporting quality in them, with them. perhaps often for them as well. So now let's say physically as well as psychologically you're doing well, you've done your best all day long. You ate human nature friendly plant food or minerals or vitamins or nutrients. You avoided all animals, all naturally alien nature carriers in every ways, including those which are inside of humans. Yet you didn't change anything, but yet you feel agitated energetically. You feel that your psychology is well. You're looking at yourself physiologically well, but otherwise you just don't feel right. Now, one of the most common way that people are causing neurological defects through energetic pollutions is the radioactive devices. Through the radioactive devices, we call them today radios or cell phones, cellular devices. These devices are interconnected and interlinked. They work through frequencies, they receive frequencies, and they give off frequencies. So they are technically signal receivers as well as signal providers, givers, just like the human brain. So it is very easy for them to actually hack the human brain to the human nervous system. Then if there is bad vibration, bad frequencies, we call pollutions, radiation pollutions, going through them, they will likewise bother, disturb, trouble, irritate, agitate, harm human energetic qualities first, then the nervous system, then the psyche, then the physiology also. It's very common today that people are driving very offensively. One of the biggest offense when it comes to driving and road safety is that people simply do not follow the following distance. They just simply not aware anymore about what would be actually safe, therefore pleasantful, therefore kind, therefore not offensive towards other vehicles when they are on the road. That's for the drivers or people who are sharing the road with us. I've been attacked every day as of today on the roads without any exceptions. There were always people with their cell phones on in the vehicles being brain hacked and being literally directed onto my car in the back. I have a backup camera now. It's blurry, so I can't really see the license plates, all the faces inside the cars. I can see the cars, and I could make reports every day about at least 10 or 15 attacks just by vehicles. When the headlights are on and the cell phones are on and the data is Wi-Fi is on, that's the worst. But even if your cell phone data or Wi-Fi is not on, radioactive devices could anytime be could be hacked anytime and could deliver frequencies which will cause damage in the human soul. Today, the most common energy weapons going through applications and pre-programmed the AIs, artificial intelligences, targeting specific energy signatures, especially those which are clean, which are not infected, because that there is pure human soul qualities, there is pure human energy which getting non-stop rubbed through negative ions, which pulling out positive ions and electrons and from through the neurons in the nervous system and the electrolytes and the signaling molecules in the cellular structure. That's where they're stealing human spiritual qualities, which are actually vital, necessary for humans to stay alive as humans. Without human spiritual qualities, the human physiology as well as psychology simply cannot sustain human nature, human spirit, and there is no human spirit for the human cells because they can't receive it because they've been damaged, blocked, poisoned, polluted, bothered, then the physiologies will not able to, or the psychology will not be able to sustain humanely. I think it's common sense. I think it makes perfect logic. Unfortunately, the ether war has begun in the late 1800s, and ever since then, it never stopped. Prior to that, prior to the late 1800s, ether wars, bad energies to the ether being spread simply by animal nature infections through the layers of the planet, from the underworld to the subterranean world, up to the surface, and even troubling the heavens. This could be stopped simply by organizing the environment, keeping animals with animals, keeping hybrids with hybrids, keeping humans with humans, keeping humans with human nature friendly elements, plants, environmental conditions, vibrations, frequencies separately from those who are already being victimized, zombified. Therefore, they became hybrids because there is animal nature infection in them, possessing them, keeping them animal nature infected, and as well infectious to everything what is actually humane, energetically, physically, as well as psychologically. It is, it is, uh, it is preventable, and it is possible to actually to live a human life among human nature friendly beings as well as things. We are talking about good plants, mostly edible plants or plants which are helping people to stay away from infections, noble minerals, clean air, clean water, clean heat energy, clean soil, good human hearted people with lots of aloha. People without aloha are zombies. People without love, without care for human life, supportive proceedings, behaviors are zombified or zombies. That means animalistic or animals. Now, zombifications could also happen after energetic realities are infected, could also infect people directly physically, which is also very common today these days. It isn't humans who are consuming animals or keeping animals. They are animal natures, which bug natures, which are doing that to humans. It is not human nature which is consuming humans or human spiritual qualities through humans. Those are also animals, animal nature infections of the worst kinds and types between the animal kingdom. That means alien world. Alien to Earth, alien to humans. Uh, Again, if you consuming, if something to you is consuming animals, that means that you have been possessed by bacterial virus infections. Most people call it COVID, which appears through radioactive devices or radioactive environments. and radiations, as well as it happens physically as well as it happens psychologically. Everybody knows what is the difference between wrong or right. So when you are hearing information, sustaining information, what is supporting human life qualities, normal behaviors, respectful, tender, loving, caring behaviors among each other, for each other as humans, then that's normal. Otherwise, if you realize that something else going through you that's not normal and it is already an infection, normally on Earth, when people getting infected and injured, because it they go hand in hand. When there is infections, there will be injuries. People would need to go, and hopefully will need to go to hospitals. If there are serious offenses occurring through them, then people will need to be separated, kept safely, and while being kept safely, as long as it is possible, they will need to be treated, hospitalized. The infections need to be removed from people. That means all animal nature infections, including energetic, physical, or psychological animal nature infections, will need to be removed from people. That's what is called hospitalization. That's what is called healing. That's what is called curing. That's what is called medical treatment. When people getting out of the hospital and they still injured, even a tiny bit, or they still infected by animal nature, even a tiny bit, the hospital did not fulfill its purpose. The society contributes pretty much the most money to hospitalizations, and yet hospitalizations are letting people out with gut cancers, parasites, bacteriovirus infections, injuries after incidents occurring as the result, all different types of incidents from on the road, being on the street, being at home, being at public places, etc. So, if we cannot help ourselves and we are on a daily basis becoming zombified, then start troubling actual human lifestyles. That means peaceful, caring, kind, aloha filled lifestyles. Those individuals will need support, mandatory support. That means if the medical industry does not fulfill its true purpose, which is actually to make sure that people will not be sick after leaving the hospitals, then the hospital then the hospitals are simply supporting the zombie world and the zombifications and the crimes, instead of doing what they meant to do, which is to prevent crimes, injuries, troubles, so on, so on. Those hospital workers who carry infections, they are not hospital workers, they are spreading disease, says. Naturally, automatically. All animals spreading diseases, naturally, automatically, everywhere. Breaching the peace, breaching human rights, exploitation is the biggest crime today around the entire world. simply because humans are animal nature infected, simply because animals are existing among humans. The animals cannot, never, ever help or infected people by animal nature cannot ever help not to attack the human spirit. They can't. That's not possible. That's it is automatic. Since they are lacking uh, potential hydrogen sustaining abilities, that means pH balances, which are actually humanely right. That means above 7.365, which could grow up to any pH balances to the highest degrees. Humans can do it. Bugs cannot do it. Animals cannot do it. They have 1 degree of energy sustaining ability, and that's it. As is. It is possible to unlock the chronological infection through inside the animals, then to neutralize it, then to actually help them to evolve. But we are not talking about that right now, and we will not talk about that until humankind is sick. Until there is one human left with animal nature infections, that means zombified. Until then, we will never ever talk about how animals could be transformed back to humans. We will not, because again, all the animal nature infected beings or things will attack, will do their best, and they sneaky, they sly, they are cunning. They will do their best to destroy what is actually helping humankind to remain humans instead of becoming animals. That means aliens. Of course, human didn't cause this trouble. Of course, aliens caused this trouble. Of course, aliens will never ever be able to help us, or none of the alien nature carriers will never ever be able to help us to be human natured, because the natural how about is automatically infectious, animalistically infectious. Everything affects everything the way they are. There's no exception in the rule. According to human rights law, universal, international, European, Canadian, anything what is not aligning with human rights law should not exist, including animalistic products. Those are the biggest biological weapons. Animals and animalistic products on Earth should never ever existed. Housing when people are being locked up, like in jails. Education programs, job programs, which are locking up people, taking away their freedoms, only giving them a tiny little bit of money. Technically, what's going on today is torturing, all caused by aliens. Otherwise, we call animals and hybrids. Humans got away. Humans are having a way out of this mess. Like this easily. We have to live with this opportunity, with this chance to get out from the buck trap. We have to make sure that we will not suffer, or if it's not necessary for self-defense, we will not cause suffering, especially not towards humans. We have to make sure that we will not become criminals, and we also have to make sure that we are not criminals. on a momentary basis. Everything and everyone who is causing harm to humankind, human life, human nature, human rights is a criminal instantly. Instantly. To, through and by the geothermal powerhouse of the planet, everything is monitored. Everything has been monitored always and will be also. Aloha. No any more nature infections, my lovely humankind, means no suffering, no troubles, everlasting happy human life everywhere. Do it, let's do it together.